Welcome back for the final part of episode 4 of the Long Voyage. And when we rejoin our merry band of ne'er-do-wells, they are in fact face to face with CharismaToAC, sword of the Silver Queen. And he comes towards you guys. He is smiling. He has a serious look on his face otherwise, but he's smiling. And it doesn't seem to be in a sort of condescending or hostile manner either in any way. He seems genuinely pleased that you are there. And he stops in front of you and says in your own language, although fairly heavily accented, he says, "Welcome. I did not expect to see Southlanders here. But I'm very pleased that I do. To what do I owe the honor?" And Ormer, of course, nods. He doesn't bow, but he nods at least respectfully. He is facing a sword. And he says, well, I am Ormer, the last scion of my line, and this is my crew. I have a single ship, the Fagerfair, which is located in the nearby harbor. And we are led to understand that you have need of good, strong arms to wield weapons for you in battle. We have good, strong arms. And CharismaToAC nods and looks over the group and says, well, you certainly do. What is your price? And after a moment, Ormer leans over towards Ronnie, and they whisper a few words between them, and he says, we will go by weight rather than coinage, I take it. And the sword nods, says, if you please. And what's his face? And Ormer takes out, slowly, admittedly, but he draws one of his CAC's daggers. They're long blades. He says, the weight of this for every man and battle maiden in my crew, in silver, and all the plunder that we take belongs to us. And and CharismaToAC ponders this for a moment and says, for how long? How long will I have your services for this weight of silver? And Ormer shrugs and says, one season. And if you want to rehire us afterwards, well, we'll talk about that then. And CharismaToAC takes a moment to think about that, and he says, I think, Captain Ormer, I think that you are selling yourselves a little cheap. What say you? We pay you that weight and half again as much. And then I, and only I, have a right to take, if you should lay claim to any plunder which is of particular importance to me personally, then I can claim it. But other than that, you will keep whatever plunder you take. Ormer thinks about this for a moment, and then he extends a hand and says, that sounds like an equitable agreement. It is a good amount of silver, and we shall be pleased to fight and kill for you. Carrotshawk nods and says, well, let me have the blade and I shall make sure that the appropriate amount of silver is made available to each of you. I still don't quite understand, he says. Your people, you have such a thing about silver. Everybody here would have preferred to be paid in gold. And Ormer just shrugs and grins and says, well, to us silver is holy. It's sacred. And Carrotshawk says, well, I'm not going to complain. I am perfectly happy to pay you in silver.
We understand what they're saying, right?
Yeah, you do. He's speaking he's speaking, as I said, in your language, but it's accented.
Ilva mutters something about, well, I don't think gold.
If Gilfie hears this, like hears Ilva mutter this, he tries to explain.
He probably does. They're standing a little behind them, but Ilva is muttering the interesting gold. So he can explain away.
Yeah, he probably just starts whispering to Ilva why they have interest in gold.
Oh, trying to make the not as bright but not completely stupid Ilva understand weird customs.
Well, somebody has to.
Yep.
And and then after he's made this arrangement and again Ormer has handed over the blade, but said I'm gonna need that one back. And Carrotshawk laughs heartily and says, "Don't worry, I'm not taking your knife." Well, it is a point because obviously it's made of your metal. It's he's not allowed to hand it over. But
but it's still I want it back. Yeah. You'll have it back.
Mm-hmm. And then Ormond turns around, and again he shares a few private words with his first mate, and then he beckons towards you five and calls you over.
Silver comes over, still being told what gold means to these people.
Yes.
Buggy approaches as well.
Yeah.
I don't think Frody was far off, but he will definitely approach.
Yeah. And he says when you get close, he speaks in a hushed tone so that not the entire world can hear what he's saying. He says, I'm going to have you five stick together. He says, for one thing, you already got some information for me from the inn last night. That's as it may be, but well, let's just say I've had a little, well, not so little. I've had quite a large black bird inform me that it would be wise for me to do so. I wish to keep you five in close proximity of one another, and for you guys to help each other out. What I would like for you to do right around now is start going around the camp, see if you can get an idea of, well, not just the combat readiness of these people, but how many are there, how strong are they? I'm not talking about how much they can lift. I'm talking about what if they got attacked right now, how would it end? That sort of thing. Try to get a sense of these people while I have another word with our new employer about what we can do.
All right.
Elven nuts.
Okay.
Probably reasonably good at assessing strengths
Yeah.
and weaknesses.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Reasonably.
Yep.
So you move. You start moving into the camp.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Yep. And the rest of it should be said. The rest of the crew is being kept with Ormer. You guys are the only ones who are getting sent out on a
Extra mission.
extra mission, extra scouting
So to say.
assignment.
It's fine. We're a group now.
And you get in between the tents pretty easily, but of course everybody there is confused as to who you are and why you are there, because the news haven't really spread throughout the camp yet.
I think Frody will have grabbed a hold of Gylfi just to keep him nearby and said something along the lines of, "You translate for me because I haven't learned this language yet."
You get clue. As I said, you move through the several ranks and groups of tents, and you come out into a fairly open area where some of the horses are kept.
Interesting, actually.
Mm-hmm. This is not a way of fighting that Southlanders practice. They don't use cavalry in any form.
We do know what a horse is, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good, because it's just like, if we don't even know what they are... But
No, you
if
know
we
what
know
horses
what they are.
Yep.
Probably just haven't seen one up close for a very long time. She stops and stares at them, kind of in a ooh.
So Joan, out of game question.
Yep.
Or out of character question. Would we even know how to assess the battle readiness of cavalry? Is cavalry something we use?
No, cavalry is a completely unknown
Right. Okay.
arm of any army in the Southlands. There's no cavalry tradition in the Southlands at all at this time. So for you to you can see that they know what they're doing and they know how to ride, certainly. But Southlander horses are more like, by and large, they're more like Icelandic horses.
Yeah.
Which means that they are very small, very hardy, excellent for getting you to and from places, but probably not terribly efficient in war. And these are larger beasts than that. They're still not, thoroughbred racehorses or anything, but they're larger than that. And the men who ride them are smaller than you are, so they get a better sort of. It's a better size. It's better size comparison between the man and the rider.
Okay.
But you have, as you get there, of course, two men approach you. They look very angry, and one of them starts shouting, "I don't know who you are, but get out of here! You have no business here!" Ugh!
Did he just say?
He said something about us having no business here.
Oh. Okay.
I think you should inform him that he's mistaken.
Yes, and Baggy does so. He says, "I beg to differ, my good man. We certainly do have a reason for being here. We've been employed by your sword."
Oh?
Oh, indeed.
Well, you're too big for the horses,
Yes.
so I guess you're...
Specialized infantry, you might say.
Are you... What are those... Southern Giants thing?
Yes,
Oh.
we are Southern Giants, yes.
Ooh. Nobody ever told me you were that big. It should be said that even for a man of tear glass, he's kind of small. So basically, he's going. He looks. He gets right up to just above. Yeah, he's not navel height, but it's pretty close on some of you. He's a small guy.
I
just
think
found out why he's so aggressive.
Ilva tugs at Baggy's shirt with a, "Oh my god, he's just as tall as you say they would."
Yes, I told you there'd be short people here.
Oh my god. You sure he's not a child?
Oh, he's not a child.
Well, he's got a beard, so
What does she know? They might get beards earlier here.
true.
They're so short that their ass hair is in their face instead.
Ah!
Oh,
Baggy looks at the man and says, "My companion here is wondering if you're a child."
the man.
Ilva looks at him like with a, "Yep, that is me asking." She doesn't know what Baggy just said.
He looks offended for about half a second. Then he looks amused. Then he realizes that she's being serious, and he looks confused. And finally he kind of tugs on his beard and goes, "No, I've been in this world for 43 years.
For what it's worth, my good man, she, as you haven't seen a Southlander before, nor has she ever seen a man from Tear Glass before. So what does she know?
True. Well, he says, well, I'm glad to see that you're here. I just hope you haven't joined a losing army."
What makes you say that?
Well,
You seem a bit dejected.
yes, we've been beaten quite badly recently. See these horses?
Yes.
You've been seeing them around the camp, I guess.
Mhm.
How many would you think there are?
2, maybe 300.
About 300 is around the right number. We used to have almost 7.
Wow.
Our cavalry was cut to pieces. Most of the rest of us got away, but the cavalry was cut to pieces. So
What did the cutting?
that
For who?
fucking bastard Liam and his men did. There's no honor in ambushes. None. It might be effective, but it's not an honorable way of fighting.
And I take it they ambushed you before your cavalry could move into formation.
Indeed, that's exactly what happened. We were moving through a hilly area, a couple of weeks' travel from here, on foot. It was in the extreme northern part of the lands that CharismaToAC controls, or controlled. And, well, unfortunately, we didn't see them until they came over the hill. They used magic to hide the sound of their men coming. So we literally did not see them until they stood on the crest of the hill, and there was less than 40 paces between them and us. And our line was stretched out.
And is this typical for this Liam character to use ambushes?
Ambushes and, well, assassinations. He'll poison anyone. He says, and that clearly, that one has, that one is distasteful to him, clearly.
So he fights dirty.
He does. He doesn't fight at all if he can get away with it.
Well, now that we're here, he kind of has to.
Yeah, he really does, and I am definitely looking forward to it.
As are we.
with if so, how many have you brought?
Out of game, how many did we bring? 70?
Yes, around
Around
70.
70.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baggy says that.
Yeah.
About 70. 70 swords.
That's a good number. I mean, don't get me wrong. If it was just the 5 of you, it would probably not make that much difference. But 70 is that's a good number. That's good. I'll make sure to let the rest of all my mates know. So just do something for the morale of the army that we have reinforcements like that coming in. But you should just be just be warned that he does fight dirty, and you really you can't trust him to fight fair. He doesn't even abide by his own word. He will break his word without any second thought. He will have his men lie and cheat to win.
There is some predictability in that, I suppose.
Oh yes, but I mean, don't get me wrong. They can fight. I mean, they certainly can. They know, but they it just seems so dishonest. I can somehow it doesn't. Losing to a better man. That's one thing. I can cope with that. But damn it, being cut down from behind because somebody has set a trap in a village that you've been passing through for the last season, and suddenly the locals turn against you and stab you in the back. That's the kind of thing he will do. Lull you into some kind of sense of security and safety, and then suddenly they will, his men will strike out of nowhere. And yeah, oh well. So, are you going to be marching with the army in general? Because I don't know. He says I'm just taking care of the horses here. I don't know when we're leaving, so it might be a wait for you.
I can't say at the moment. Our captain is speaking with your sword.
All right.
I suppose they'll iron out the details.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well,
he says. Anyway, I'm sorry for the harsh words.
No matter.
So
Baggy extends an arm.
Yeah, he takes it and shakes it and says, I've got to ask. He says, I've got to ask because I mean, you hear stories, right? Well, we hear stories. I guess you wouldn't, but we hear stories about your equipment and your weapons and so on. I mean, I can see your armor is wow. I mean, not many of us have anything similarly protective at all, and we keep hearing that your metal is better than anything else. Is it if I arrange a demonstration, could we maybe see?
I don't see why not. And I think Baggy at this point turns around to his companion and says, "The good man just asks if he sets up a demonstration, if we could show the quality of our arms."
Could be fun. I mean, we might have to take care not to make ourselves unnecessarily unpopular by killing our sparring partners, but
Indeed.
Ilva's already nodding very eagerly.
Baggy turns back to the man and says, "Well, there you have it."
Great. Okay, he says, I'll just one thing first. He says, I'll get something more, I'll get something more set up, but there's just one thing we can try, he says. And he just, he puts up a hand so as to tell you to, wait a moment, and then he runs into his tent, and he comes out with it's the skull of a bull. This has been a fairly large beast at some point. And it's painted with markings, various markings. It's not very well kept. And he says, I took this from a well, it used to sit on top of the standard of a group of Liam's soldiers that we killed in a battle about a year and a half ago. And quite frankly, I'm tired of hauling it around. It's heavy. So, but it's also really, he says, it's a bull's skull. It's thick. So he puts it on a what's it called? There's a wooden stump, and he puts it down on that. He says, can you do something? Can you ruin it, destroy it, smash it, something? And he's got a couple of people who are also, standing there to they're looking all expectant, like,
Oh, I feel that.
kids in a candy store.
Ilva is looking with a big question mark at the bull skull because she doesn't get it. Anything of this gibberish and just, huh?
Baggy looks at Ilva, takes a step to the side and back away from this bull's skull that's about to be destroyed.
Yeah.
Well, Ilva is looking at it like, oh no, did they actually curse it? And look at Baggy, why are you backing away?
Ilva, they're requesting that you destroy this skull. Show them what your hammer can do.
They want me.
They want you to destroy it.
She looks at them, looks at the skull, takes off her warhammer, and then gives it a whack with the blunt end.
So basically just an overhead blow where you put, all your strength into it and just flatten this thing.
Yeah, and when she's using the crushing side, it just spreads as if it's exploding.
Of course. So, and they, the one thing that you all realize is when she takes out the weapon like that, one of the men goes, but. And this is just as she's raising the weapon, mind you. So it's while it's happening. He just goes, but she's a woman. And then down comes the hammer, and away goes the skull. The horns are still laying there, pretty much where they were before they just dropped to the ground. But everything in between the horns has been pulverized, and.
Baggy laughs heartily at that comment.
And the men just these locals just stand there and they look at and there's like, wow.
Doesn't even look like she used
Powers.
any effort in.
That looked too easy. What he says.
Baggy looks over to the man who made the comment about women, and he says, "No, my good man, she's a Southlander woman."
Well, wow. And
She picks up the horns.
She fights?
Like, Gilfy would just lean to Baggy, and like, it's in Southlander, he would say, like, just remember to tell them it's fair enough warning to not get any ideas, We don't want an incident.
No. I actually
sorry, please.
I think Baggy actually does look at the man and says, just keep this incident in mind in case you or any of the other thousands of men in this camp get any bright ideas.
Oh right.
She hits just as hard as any man.
I'd say harder than most. Oh, yeah. That looked too easy. The guy with the horses says that ow ow ow. Okay, right. You certainly don't lack for strength. I'm gonna as I say, I'm gonna see if I can't set something up, but just I'm probably gonna see if we can't get a bit of an audience next time, because if you can do something like that and the others can see it, they're really gonna take heart.
Oh,
And
absolutely. I agree.
oh wow, that was impressive. And they, the three of them, these three men, they nod and send Ylva a couple of more half worried, half impressed, half awestruck gazes, and just and then they walk away with a muttering between themselves about ideas for setting up other things that you guys can crush or cut through or demonstrate what you can do with weapons and so on and so forth.
Ylva makes the and then looks over at the buggy. You think I can keep the horns?
I don't see why not.
Then she picks them up with a little smile. Yay!
Guilty is like looks at it. It would look good on your helmet.
She turns.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
That was a good one.
oh, that was
She turns very slowly toward Gylfi. That's exactly what I thought.
Brain, you have made in our GM. You have made a powerful enemy today.
Something like
that's just horrible. That's just horrible.
But on the other hand, they'll just be on the way when they're supposed to, deflect hits.
Yes.
Yes.
She does say that as a concern. Yeah, but they'll kind of be in the way.
I don't think any of them will be high, tall enough to grab them.
You should stick them both on the front so you can headbutt people.
Ooh. You think that can be done?
It's going to unbalance your helmet pretty badly. It's going to slide into your eyes half the time.
True.
Put them on your shoulder blades.
That would just look silly.
Or make a drinking horn.
Ooh.
That's not a bad idea.
That's a very good idea. Oh well. Was that okay for them? I understood none of what they said.
They were.
Good.
Like Ilfi said, they were impressed.
She nods, satisfied.
Also, they spoke, or he spoke of our enemy and how he uses. He fights dirty, makes use of ambushes and assassinations and other cowardly tricks.
She furrows her brows.
I understand assassination being considered cowardly. I think it cowardly, but ambush is, well.
I think it depends on the ambush. As I understand it, they used magic to hide themselves, and that just sounds icky.
Possibly.
It's certainly an effective move.
It is. I do think if we start using the same tactics, we might our fellow warriors might frown upon that.
Well, unless you want me to hide you in an inferno, I don't think that's a possibility.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Frody.
Caradoc seems.
What?
I would say it would be quite distracting.
Yes, it would probably be a very bad idea.
Well, Caradoc seems a competent battle leader. I think he would find the situation's best suited to our particular skills.
Yes, but keep in mind that he's been fooled by the enemy before. Thus, the state of the army currently.
True enough.
It's
So-
just something to keep in mind that when we do get our assignments, we take care not to be too strict with our orders. The orders we get.
True, but acting too independently of his wishes will also be unhelpful.
Oh, certainly.
So, well, at least we've made a good impression, it seems.
So, was this the only thing they wanted to see? Ilva looks a little, just a little bit dejected from that.
Let me put it this way, Ylva. They're going to set up a lot of different things for you and for us to destroy and hack to pieces and basically showcase our skills. As the horseman put it, it might boost morale.
Oh, is morale really bad?
They just suffered heavy losses apparently, so yeah.
Oh.
He among other things, the ambush he mentioned decimated their horses, bringing them down from, I think he said 700 to the 300 they have now. So yeah, they suffered pretty severe losses.
Well, that's just shitty.
So yeah, now that we're here, they reckon that a demonstration of our powers might go a long way toward boosting the morale again.
That
Yeah, I
seems like
bet.
a good idea.
Yeah.
We should, and Frodi looks to Sindri. We should probably also learn the terrain if our enemy is keen to use it.
That's a good point. I think for now though, let's wait until we hear from our captain.
Let's go check out the rest of it, though.
Yeah, I agree.
So you spend some more time basically rummaging through the camp and getting a good solid impression of pretty much everything, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, we were told to, have a look around, not
Yeah, yeah.
impress all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They the one thing that you realize is these guys are well fed. Not as in they're overfed or that they're all sitting around getting lazy and fat and useless or anything. No, not far from it. But the food they get is very, very good, and there's enough of it. There's bread, obviously. There's they have. But that of course means that they need to get a good deal of flour. And you realize that the camp actually carries with it several very large quernstones that they set up whenever they set camp. They set up the quernstones, and they have people on those things pretty much around the clock, because for an army this size, you need quite a lot of flour. But they have, so there's bread, they have game. And they have, at least at the moment where they are, they have fresh beef. And from what you can tell, they also have salted pork, which they carry with them they transport with them in barrels when they leave. So they have excellent supplies. And this is something that you in the Southlands, you've never seen supplies for an army anything like this. The Southlands don't have an absolute dearth of fantastic farmland. It's just not there. So when you go on campaigns, it's usually a matter of, we'll forage for a lot of our food along the way, and hope that we can catch something. And if we don't, then we'll have a growling stomach for a couple of days. That sort of thing. Not the case here. This is a well-supplied army.
I would say Gylfi would be like hanging around, like on their like quote unquote leisure time. He would be probably hanging around different places to figure out the like to just snatch a couple like quote unquote recipes, how to make like salted pork and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just to to expand their like possibility of like food on the boat and like
Yes.
and travel and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, Joan, how well protected is the support train?
It is right now, obviously, it is in camp.
Yeah.
But if you ask around, you find out that it is actually quite well protected. They have, when the whole army converges, this is one camp out of several, and they're spread out slightly so that when CharismaToAC goes on campaign, then they move as individual units, and then they will converge in specific places before a major fight is planned or a battle is planned. The problem with that, of course, is that occasionally you get caught out in the open, and only one part of the army gets involved in the fighting, and that seems to be what has happened with the recent campaign against Liam's forces. Is that basically he knew how to pick off these various groups one at a time. Moving everyone together, however, would you would go through the landscape like locusts. You would, everything would be eaten, everything would be destroyed. It would be a scorched earth sort of thing. And but the supply train has, when the army is moving, has a constant guard of 200 men.
Okay.
So it's quite well protected. And the punishments for stealing from the supply train are draconian, to put it mildly. It's loss of limb is in the mild end of things, because obviously if you steal from the supply train, you steal from all your comrades at the same time. So just no, you don't.
Yeah.
And it's very much I mean, again, it seems like the army is a functioning thing, but it has been mauled recently, and that's the problem. First and foremost, because it means that they've suffered losses, but also because an army that has lost is also the recent memory of defeat takes a long time to get over.
Yep.
And to reinstill in men the belief that we're going to go out there and we're going to win next time is difficult. So yeah, that's. But the fact that you guys have arrived, and when little by little, as people realize what is going on throughout the day, as you move around and so on, it's pretty. It's telling. It makes a difference, because you're not just more reinforcements of their own kind. You're something new and different, and that all other things aside, that has a bigger impact than if they got 200 new recruits or reinforcements from their own hinterlands. That wouldn't have as much of an impact as them getting 70 Southlanders, because 70 Southlanders is totally outlandish. And they but again, yeah, hello.
No, it's totally Southlandish.
Very funny, very, very funny. All the ha-has.
I'm glad I have all the ha-has.
All the ha-has. Now you yeah.
Frodi will definitely have either grabbed Gylfi by the scruff of his neck and asked him to ask for him, or asked Baggy to ask if they have any sight makers.
Yes, they do have, and this is probably also of interest to Gylfi as well, because they have no less than 25 people in the camp who know some measure of magic. They are not terribly good at it, but they are usually in. They call them Asari, and they are usually in the what is it called? Involved in tending to the wounded.
Oh.
Very few. Only a few of them are, as you guys get told, only a few of them are actually offensively minded people who can be used in that kind of way. But they're used to help patch up those who get wounded in battle.
Well, in that case, we might spend some time talking to those, I imagine.
Yep.
Do any of them speak our language? Or do I need to continuously grab and hold Gylfi there?
I think one or two of them would probably at least be able to make themselves understood, but you know.
Yeah, if you need Gylfi would it's easily intimidatable. And he'll come with you.
I think it's mostly going to be. I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to drag you along.
He probably would look at Ilva like, help.
Help.
He would probably figure out quite quickly that they are the same people he sought to learn from, since they're also healers.
Yes. The thing is that you do learn that they are that again in terms of healing their wounded and their sick and so on, they're pretty okay. I mean, they can't save everyone. People who are desperately badly wounded or very, very ill. Again, they do know magic, but they're not strong at it. That's the thing. It's fairly weak stuff for the most part. A couple of the people in this camp are, you know, you would say that they showed some promise, but you're stronger than all of them. No question about it. As the day progresses and evening approaches and so on, there's a bit of commotion in the camp as well, because apparently someone has decided to set up a large open area with all manner of logs and bones and skulls and pig carcasses and I don't know whatever, because, you know, apparently there's going to be a weapons demonstration. Have you heard anything about that? Oops.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, but when the time comes for that, of course, the rest of the crew, including the captain, is obviously going to be present for that as well. So it's not only going to be you guys doing the demonstration. He makes sure to Ormer realizes what this is, and he picks out people who can, make a really impressive showing of things. So, for example, he's got Orn Twinblade, for example, is told to cut his way through a staged setup. It looks like 6 enemy warriors with shields raised, and he gets told to move through them, and he turns these 6 stakes with shields attached to them into so much tinder wood in a matter of moments, and Ylva is told to crush another thing, and a couple of the archers are told to basically you guys give a weapons demonstration, and yes, of course, as almost like the creme de la creme of the whole thing, it ends up with Frothy being told to demonstrate what he can do, and
I make it look as impressive as I can.
You make it look really, really impressive with lots of pyrotechnics, and you set fire to what looks to be an enemy chariot that has been, a facsimile of an enemy chariot that has been set up, and you fire a fireball at that, and it goes up in suitably impressive flames, and everybody cheers and shouts and roars, and basically as you guys walk away from or as Frothy walks away from this demonstration, he gets he walks out into the group or the crowd again, and then he gets patted on the shoulder by someone, and he hears a reasonably familiar voice saying, "That was an impressive demonstration." And there's Tierney.
Hey!
Well,
I thought I might run into you out here.
I did say that there was a good chance we'd see each other again. That was impressive. That looked, yeah. It's a lot more brutal than what we would do. A lot more direct.
I think, from what I understand, you have finesse, we have power.
I suppose that's a way of looking at it. Power takes many forms, of course, but that was certainly. Well, let's just say, if I had been on the chariot next to that one, I think I might have turned it around and run away.
It wouldn't have helped.
No, not really. and of course, this is, and at that point, people are shouting for encores, and they want to see more, and Ormur very, very graciously has Spana and Jangather, who are both there today. He has them basically do a sparring match, and people are completely baffled. First by the fact that, why is he asking two women to fight? I mean, what can they do? And then except they have this. They clearly, most of these guys have this idea that they're going to get into a sort of a teenage slap fest, and then they get started, and everybody just goes deathly quiet within moments, because it is so precise, and it is so skilled, and they are so fucking good at what they do. It is pure skill. And
they've been battle maidens for a while, haven't they?
Yes, they have. They both have years of experience, and they've both seen a fair number of actual battles. And it's basically the whole I won't even call the climax of that demonstration comes when Spana does an overhead chop with her sword that comes down, and well, that's not true. I think Spana uses an axe, but anyway, her weapon anyway. That it gets so close to Jangather's face that she literally shaves off one of her eyebrows. And Jangather doesn't even flinch. She just it just happens, and then she reaches up, and there's no blood on her fingers, and she just nods and goes, "Good blow, sister." And there is nobody in the audience anymore who is stupid enough to say anything about women and fighting. Not one.
That would also be very stupid.
Yes, there can be so many innuendos made about that sentence. Very funny. Yes, there can. But that is the situation. That's what you're seeing, and that's what's happening. And as the evening progresses, and there's people break out more casks of beer, and then because this is clearly cause for celebration. This is an army that has needed a boost in morale, and you've just provided it. And as merriment takes place or begins, Ronnie gets all of you together and says, by the way, the captain has negotiated with the sword, and there will be obviously there's the silver for all of us, but he says, I'm going to ask you 5 if you're willing to... Are you guys willing to do a risky job for an extra an extra half share each.
That's why we're here, isn't it?
Well, as I just want to ask, it's not going to be entirely risk-free, but
War never is.
it never is indeed. But you see, we're going to need to think in new and complicated ways, because I take it you've heard about the enemy, about this Liam character who doesn't fight fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cheating bastard.
Well, basically the captain's idea is that we're going to cheat the cheater.
Cheat the cheater?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to cheat the cheater. So we are going to... He's going to expect some kind of response, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to probably think that this army is going to arrange for some kind of distraction. And we are. But we're also going to arrange for a distraction from the distraction. So you guys will be going further away than any of the rest of us. And you're going to be causing a lot of trouble where you're going. And while the enemy focuses on that, we're going to make even more trouble in a bigger way, because there are more of us, somewhere else, not too far away. And while Liam's forces are busy trying to catch up with us, our new friends here are going to take back some of the lands that just got stolen from them. See, the thing about this is the rest of us will have, we will have the Faga Fair to retreat to in short order. So we're going to make a lot of noise, kick up a lot of shit, and as soon as we can see the enemy on the horizon, we are going to retreat to the ship and moon them from, out to sea where they can't reach us anyway.
Now I'm kind of happy I'm not going to be on that ship.
Oh,
I kind of
come
want
on.
to be on that ship.
He said, "Oh, come on. A lot of hairy asses. Come on. It's going to be you
I
would
see them often enough when we travel. Thank you.
That's true. But not all at the same time." He grins crookedly. Anyway, he says, "The point is, you five won't be near enough to retreat to the you won't be near enough to retreat to the ship.
We'll make it.
I'm sure you will. But
Will
if
we
you-
be fighting in grasslands?
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
What? Which season is it?
It is. It's summer.
Well, there might just be plenty of dry grass to put a giant fire between them and us then.
We can hope. He says we can.
You're good
certainly
at
hope.
fires, so could actually be
The
a
thing is, he says, there's one thing I need you all to be aware of. Because for most of you, this is the first time, or at least only the second time, you're in anything resembling a battle. I know most of you have limited experience. He says, this is war. It's not going to be pretty. And you need to be brutal. You need to put fear into these people.
Fear is a great weapon.
It is indeed.
And brutal is what we do best.
Good. As long as we are clear on that.
I would say if anybody was paying attention that Gilfy was gradually going paler and paler.
Yeah, poor Goofy.
Can't we talk our way out of this?
Yeah. No,
I'm sure if we just told them.
Yeah. Yes, so do I. I really like that. Yes. You have a point. You really have a point. Yes. But anyway, he says, get some rest, get some sleep, and come talk to the captain tomorrow. And we're going to travel the first part of the journey. We're gonna go together, but still, you should hear it from him. Right? All right. Sleep well.
You
And
too.
you as well.
And we're gonna end it there until next time.
Cool.
Aw. 3 hours went by too fast.
Yes, it did. But you guys need some experience, and I think we got quite a lot done today, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really did.
This was significant. So I'll give you 4 XP.
Cool.
Nice.
Yay! I'm up to 8 out of 12.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I'll definitely look into something to spend those on eventually.
yeah, of course. And yeah.
I'm still a little shaky on how you use it. But I'll find out.
Yeah, definitely. And okay, in that case, I'm going to end the recording. And for our listeners, obviously, we do hope to see you back next week for more of The Long Voyage. And from us here in this merry band of moronic ne'er-do-wells, because my God, we this today. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to get you guys drunk more often in character. That was hilarious.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, please do.
It's like, please kill me already. That was so good. That was so good. All right. Yes. Anyway, guys, we're gonna see you next week, and from us, bye.
Bye.
Bye.